Today I'm going to take you through some of the key plugins for OceanWP and demonstrate some of the basic things you're going to need to know. This is going to get you up to speed with the key things you're probably going to need to do whenever you install a copy of OceanWP. So let's just jump over into WordPress, install those plugins and take a look at how we can use them right now. Now, if this is your first time using OceanWP, I'd recommend checking out the video overview that I did recently, where I can take you through and show you some of the basics of OceanWP itself without any of the commercial plugins. But in this video, I just want to demonstrate some of those plugins and some of the basic features they offer. Now we're going to start off with a very popular sticky header. It's incredibly easy to do. So I've got the demonstration site in front of me, and as you can see, if we scroll up, the header scrolls with the page. We don't want that. We want to set it up so we can easily get that to stick at the top of the page for us. So I'm going to jump back into the dashboard and we're in the plugins section. And all I need to do to start working with these sticky headers is activate the Ocean Sticky Header plugin. So I'm going to come down and just select that and activate it. And once I've done that, I can jump over to the Appearance section and we can come into the Customizer. And in the Customizer, all of the controls for the sticky header are available to us. So we look on the left hand side, you'll see we now have a new entry for sticky header. If I expand that, you can see there's a range of different options available for how we want to configure and have our sticky header to work. So let's start off by just taking a look at some of the options that are available. You can see we've got sticky and then we've got auto and manual. Now the manual option only works if you're using a custom header style, which we're not at this point, and it's beyond the scope of what I want to cover in this. So we'll leave it set to auto. We've then got the option for sticky top bar, sticky mobile, full width scrolling and no shadow when scrolling. These checkboxes just will enable or disable those various different features. So the sticky top bar, where you can see you've got place your content, or you've got some social icons at the top, that's our top bar. So if we scroll the page, you see by default that disappears. However, if we want that to be part of our header, we can simply check that option to say sticky top bar, and you'll see now as we scroll up and down, that stays in place and it becomes part of our design. So very easy. Now depending upon the design that you're using, on a mobile you may find you want to enable the sticky mobile option. You've also got the option then for full width scrolling, and what that does is it converts the navigation, the sticky header, to full width when you scroll up. So let me just give you an example. If I check to enable that, you'll see nothing changes on the page at the moment, but once I scroll up you'll see the navigation and the top bar, if it's enabled, now move over to the right and the left hand side of the screen to give us a full width display. Finally, we've got the no shadow when scrolling. So you can see as we scroll down we get this shadow effect. If we disable that, we now have no shadow effects. If you have no separating line or anything, you may find your design kind of ties in to the actual page itself and you lose the separation between the header and the actual content itself. But that option is there should you want it. Now next in the list of options, you see we have sticky style. We've got shrink and we've got fixed. Now what that basically does is, as you can see, the header will actually shrink when it goes into its sticky mode. However, if you don't want that to happen, you want it to be a fixed size, you can simply select fixed and that will no longer shrink that down. It'll stay the same size whether you're scrolling up or down or in the normal position where it's right at the top of the page. So again, really quite cool. You've then got the sticky effect. You can see we can have no effect, slide, show up, hide down. So if we set that to shrink, for example, we can then combine that with the no effect and the slide and so on. We can even then control the sticky height, so we can specify exactly how tall or small we want the actual sticky header to be. We've also got the option then for the padding. So when it goes into sticky mode, how much padding do you want to place around it? Top, bottom, left and right, so you can fine tune and get it to look exactly the way that you want. Then we've got the sticky opacity. So you'll see as we scroll down, it becomes semi-opaque. If we want it to stay solid color, we can set that to 1. If we want to reduce the opacity down there, we can adjust it to whatever value we want to fit in with the design that we're working with. If you want to reset that value to its default, you simply click the reset arrow and that'll put it back to the default value. And this is true of any way in the customizer as part of OceanWP or the customizer in general. You can click on these reset arrows and it'll put it back to the default value. So if you're testing things out and you find you make a bit of a mess of it, you can reset them very quickly. You've also got the option then to go in and create a separate or different sticky logo. So you may want to create a simplified version. Well, you can do that very easily, and you can also select both a normal version and you can do a retina version, which is generally double the size dimension wise to the normal version. Then we've also got the logo height on sticky, so we can customize that option if we want to. And then we've got the styling options, which allows us to go through and fine tune and tweak to make sure that our sticky header will tie in exactly the way we want it to be with any of the style choices we make, so different background colors, link colors, and so on. So it's very, very easy to customize and create a sticky header using the OceanWP sticky header plugin. So when you're ready to add another level to your WordPress website, adding your own custom pop-up login is a great way of achieving that. And thankfully, OceanWP has a plugin just for that. So I'm going to demonstrate some of the basic settings you can use to create your own custom pop-up login, registration form, and lost password form, all very easily. So let's take a look at that. So I've downloaded and installed the Ocean PopUp Login plugin, and I'm ready now to go in and configure some settings. So all we need to do again is just jump back over to the appearance section and jump into the customizer, and then we'll have a new panel in there that allows us to customize and configure the OceanWP PopUp Login. So you'll notice now on the left hand side we've got PopUp Login as a new section, and also there's a logout section on top of our menu and navigation. This is automatically added once you add that plugin in, but you can customize it very easily inside the PopUp Login settings. So let's take a look at that. If we click on the PopUp Login, you can see we've got some settings that allow us to do quite a few different things. We can go through and set it up to be in the menu, or we can manually position it. For this intro video, we'll leave it in the menu so it stays up in our menu structure, as you can see in the top right hand corner. What we can do then is we can specify what happens when a user is logged in. So you can see we can display nothing, so there's no message in the navigation. We can choose a logout link, which is what you can currently see, or we can create a custom link on there. So we click on custom, you'll see that'll update and allows us to put in our custom text. We can use short codes in here if we want to as well, but we'll leave it as is and we'll put it back to the logout link for now. Next up, you then have the login text, what you want to use if someone isn't logged in. Again, you can easily put this information in, and the same goes for the logout text. We can put whatever we want in there in any language you want to make sure it kind of ties in to the style and structure that you want to create for your website. Next up, we've got the login form itself. So you can see we've got the title, the content, the redirect after login if we want to use it. So what happens, what link or page do we want it to go to after the login button is clicked and a successful login happens. You can specify exactly what you want in there. So it could be your home page, it could be a welcome page, it could be anything you want. Just drop the URL in there. Next up, we've got the registration form, and providing you have registration option available as part of WordPress itself, so when you set things up in the settings section, you can specify whether people can register or not. If you have it turned off, then the registration form won't show up inside WordPress itself. You'll still have the options inside the customizer and OceanWP's plugin, but you won't see it on the website itself. Again, we can put the title in there and any content we want, and again we can specify a URL to redirect to after a successful registration. Finally, we've got the lost password form, and it follows the same trend, the title and the actual content we want. Next up, we've got the styling options, and you can see we can easily go through and adjust and configure the way that the pop-up actually displays. So we can specify the width, the padding, border radius, and so on. We can come in and add in background images, change the colors, and do all that kind of good stuff. So that's how easy it is to add it. But what does it look like and how does it work? Well, I've logged out and I've gone into a different browser now, so we can see what it's like in action. You can see there's our sign up and join link at the top, which has replaced our logout because we're currently logged out of the site. Once I click on that, that'll open up the login form, and you can see it's a nice looking form. Everything is styled, and we can control the colors and so on inside this, the text messages, the titles, all those kinds of things. So we can put our username and password in, the remember me option, we can log in. If we've forgotten our password, we can click on the forgot password link. So let's click on that. That now replaces our login form with the reset password form, and again you can see the styling is consistent across this one as well. Finally, if we want to, we can click on the back to login, and then if we haven't signed up and subscribed and we've got this option enabled, you can see it says not a member, and we've got the option to sign up. If we click on there, there's the normal things we can do: a username, password, email address, and so on, and the registration button. So you can see it's very easy and nice and simple to set up, and we can configure quite a few of the different options, and that's how easy it is to add in a pop-up login form using OceanWP's plugin. We're now going to move on, and I'm going to demonstrate the OceanHooks plugin for OceanWP, probably one of the most powerful plugins you'll get for this theme. So let's just take a look at how we can start to use it. I've already installed the plugin, and what it does is it opens up the scope of how we can sort of inject various different pieces of code, templates, designs, and so on into our website. So let's take a look at that. Let's keep a really simple example. If we come into the dashboard, you can see if we go down to the theme panel, we've got My Library. Once you open that up, it'll show you any of the templates that you create for your library inside OceanWP. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a really simple example. Click on Add New. We're going to call this one Special Offer. Doesn't really matter what we're going to call it, it's just a name for this example. Okay, you see I've got Elementor installed. You don't need this, you can easily use any kind of coding you want or just simply type in straight into the normal WordPress editor. However, Elementor just gives you a ton more control and design options when you want to create something just a little special. So now that we created our blank template, let's use Elementor just to open up and create something really quickly. So I'm just going to edit with my Elementor. And we're going to create a really simple sort of banner strip at the top that's just going to say Special Offer. Now don't worry about the fact that you can see the template structure for the header and footer. That will be ignored. So what we're going to do is we're simply just going to come in and add in something really, really simple. Going to add in, create this to be full width. We'll set a background color on there and we'll just choose one of the default colors. The blue will be fine. And finally we're going to come in and we're just going to drop in a heading element. Center that. Leave the text that's in there. That's fine. And we'll set the styling to be white. And we'll just add a little bit of padding around it. Now, like I say, this isn't particularly important. It's just an example of what I'm trying to do. What we will do, though, is we'll come down and we'll say we want to put some animation in this. We'll say an entrance animation, and we'll just do something really simple like bounce in. Okay, so we'll leave it as it is, and we'll just publish that. Now, it's not going to display anyway. Publishing it just basically means we've saved it. So let's close this down. Go back to our dashboard. We've now created that template. Let's just update this just to make sure that it's saved. And then we're going to come down to the OceanWP section. Now you'll see that we've got a new element in here called hooks, a new section. If we click on that, that's going to open up the hooks options. Now this might look quite daunting to start off with if you don't really understand it, but once you get your head around what it does, it is very, very easy, but incredibly powerful. So what does it do? Well, let's take a look step by step through the process. You can see we can activate this hook, so we can enable or disable this if we want to. Well, we want to enable it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to choose the location. So once we click on there, you can see we can go through and we have tons of different locations, all to do with the page that you're working with and the site that you're working with. So different things like the WordPress head section or before the top bar, before the top inner bar. Scroll right the way through, you can see there are lots of different locations. So if you just consider you want to put something into your theme or into your design, but you don't want to put it on every single page, you want to put on a specific page, it's not part of your theme, you don't know how to edit it, the hooks will allow you to do a lot of those things. So let's keep this really simple. A simple example I would say is before the top bar. So we're saying we want this particular design to be inserted above the top bar. Now if we just jump over to our test page, I'll show you where the top bar is. So I'll just open this back up. The top bar is where we've got the little social media icons, this white strip above our logo section. So as you can see at the moment, there's nothing there other than the top bar. Okay, so we've enabled this, we've told it we want to put it. We can set a priority if we want to. So if you have multiple different things that you want to put into the same location, you can use these priority and insert a number to specify which is the first, second, third, and so on. So it's very easy to specify what order they display in. Now you have the option then for enable PHP. We're going to overlook that for now, but if you're comfortable working with PHP code, you can use this to enable it and then use PHP code using the hooks. So it's very easy to work with injecting that code into your site. Like I say, a bit beyond what we want to do in this video. Conditional logic, this is where the real power comes in. If we open that up, you can see we've got options to show on and hide on. Now obviously the difference being if you've got 20 pages and you want to hide on every one except for one, you could say show on a specific page. If you want to do the reverse, then you could use hide on. So you can use some simple conditional logic. We're not limited to just one, we can add as many conditions in as we want to make sure that it displays the content in exactly the way we want, in exactly the location we want. But let's keep this really simple. Let's just say you can see we have the option for all pages, home page, front page, and so on. So we could say we want to specify this, it could be to any of those, or we can come in and we can choose we want to put in a single post, a category page, an archive page, and we can show it when the user's logged in or logged out. So we simply choose the condition we want to work with, and for this example I'm going to say that I want it to be the front page, the first page on our site. If I wanted to add a second condition in there, I can click on add new row, set my second condition, third condition, fourth condition, and so on. Let's just delete that, I only need the one. Now if I wanted to use reverse conditional logic, I could use the hide on option instead of show on. And as you can see, all exactly the same options are available in there. So very easy ways to set up the conditions you want. Now we could also use user roles alongside the normal conditional logic or instead of the conditional logic. And user roles is a simple way of choosing what level of user you need to be able to view this particular sort of OceanWP hook. So you can see anything we've got set up in WordPress is available in here because we've got e-commerce installed with WooCommerce. You can see you've got shop manager, customer, subscriber, and so on. So we could use those if we wanted to. I'm going to disable those for now. I want to keep it really, really simple. Okay, so we set up our conditions. We created a simple template, so everything is now in place. Let's just update this to make sure it's all saved. And if we go over to our website and take a look at our home page, you'll see there's our little banner strip at the top, animated in right at the top, exactly where we told it to be. But if we go to the sample page, which isn't the home page, and click on there, it doesn't display. Again, we go back to the home page, you'll see it's there. Jump to the sample page and go into, for example, a blog post. Click on there, it's not there. So we've used conditional logic to pull in the hook and display it exactly where we want on the page and exactly what page we want it on. And that's a really simple overview of what the OceanHooks does for you. If you experiment with this, you'll find you have huge amounts of control over what you can do. If you're using Elementor or Elementor Pro and you want to expand it alongside OceanWP, then the Elementor Widgets plugin is going to be for you. It has tons and tons of great new widgets you can use inside Elementor. Just looking at the list, you can see there are tons of options: accordions, advanced custom field widget, advanced heading widgets, banner widgets, and so much more. Now, it's beyond the scope of this video to demonstrate all of these. I just want to give you a brief overview of some of the things that are in there so you can see how good this extension is. Now, I've already gone ahead and created a blank page with Elementor, and as you can see, this is the OceanWP Elements plugin. If we scroll through, you can see there are a lot of options available to us. A lot. So let's just take a look at something quite cool. Let's just take a look at something like the timeline. Just drag and drop that in, and as you can see, it pulls up a simple entry. We can specify what source we want. We can use posts, so we can create a timeline using the post inside WordPress, or we can create custom content. If we choose custom content, you can see we get a great looking example of what it's going to look like. And then we can simply go through and start adding in our custom content. So we click, you can see we've got entries. We can add images in here if we want to, very easily. You can see it updates everything in real time. And we can go through, we can specify exactly what we want for our entire timeline. Go to additional options, you can see we can go and choose what we actually want to display. So do we want an image, yes or no, titles, metadata information, excerpts, and so on. So we can really get in and fine tune this to get exactly what we want. Jump over the styles, you can see there's also a whole bucket load of different options we can use to fine tune and tweak every part of this timeline. Just take a look at another option. Let's just close this down, delete this, remove that, and choose something else. Let's take a look at the animated heading, for example. Drag and drop that in, and as you can see, it now animates a particular word or phrase. So we can easily come in and start changing the way this actually looks. So you can see we've got the pre-heading, the heading itself, which is the animating section, and then the post-heading, the section at the end. We can drop things like links in there if we want to. We can choose whether we want to be animated or typed. So again, really quite cool. The animation options, we can adjust the type speed, the start delay. If we choose the animated option and come into the different options there, you can see we have a range of different options on how we want to display that. So we can have zooming, for example. We can specify the duration, the delay. We could even come in and then style every aspect of this. All very, very simple, very intuitive. If you're used to working with Elementor, you'll find these are designed in a very much the similar fashion. So let's just remove that, and let's take a look at one more. Let's take a look at the blog carousel. So let's just drag and drop that in there. And it immediately pulls in the posts from our blog and puts in a default layout. Now we can go through and we can change almost every aspect of this. So let's just say, for example, we want to apply a query to it. We can come in and we can say we want to be post types, or we want to be pages, the number of posts we want to use, the order, include and exclude categories. So we can really fine tune exactly what's displayed in here. If we come at the elements section, we can choose all the different things that will be displayed. For example, we might want to increase the quality of the image, so we can choose medium large. We can say we don't want to show the meta information, we can just disable that. So let's simply go in and change the excerpt length. We'll set that to 30, so to show a little more of the article itself, and you can see everything is set up on there. We might want to change this from learn more to read more, or we can change that. Everything is configurable. Coming to style, you can see we can adjust the color for the arrows, the color for the hover state of the arrows, the content itself, so we can come in and change the typography, background colors, all those kinds of good things. And that is just scratching the surface of what you can do with this immense plugin for OceanWP. I'd highly recommend it if you are using Elementor. It adds so much functionality out of the box, it's unbelievable. Now I'm going to wrap this video up there. I've demonstrated just a couple of the things that you can do with 4 of the great plugins you can get for OceanWP. Hopefully it's given you a good insight to what you could do and given you a real taste to try this out for yourself. All the applicable links are in the description below, so check out OceanWP, check out the add-ons that you can get for this, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.